Action. So, Joe, what's your last name of your family? The Gomes? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
So it's Joe and Fran and Jeanette is hiding over here. And,
I'm hiding over here. Hello.
where are we right now?
Crete, the island of Crete.
The
We're
island
in
of
Herculaneum.
Herculaneum.
That's the
Herculaneum.
name of the city.
That's the name of the city. Jeanette's our guide today because she's
Yeah.
an expert on this town. It's her favorite town in the world. And our guide's little speaker didn't work so good. So what has been your favorite place in our visit so far, other than the bathrooms,
Yeah.
which seems to be everybody's favorite place?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here's some. Oh, here we go. It's
Okay.
going to be good. So that's okay. So
Yeah.
we're here in the little plaza in Crete, and we just went to Titus's Basilica, and there's a jet flying overhead, and we're going to get on our bus, get back on the boat, and we're going to head towards the island of Santorini. So
Yesterday we were in Ephesus, and I thought that was a great ancient city. You know, we didn't spend a lot of time there. You could have spent days there. But there was the ancient library, and there was a lot of ancient Roman and Greek history there that goes way back.
Did you when you were there? Did you what was your contemplation of Mary being there? We got to see the place where Mary lived for a while. What was your
Ephesus,
thought of
and visiting the home of Mary, and the stories. What I really liked, because I hadn't heard them before, was the rationale, or why people believe that Mary lived there, because there's always a reasoning behind it, right? And there was the vision of that one nun who was a saint. Does anybody remember her name? But she had Mary actually appeared to her and gave her all the particulars of where that place was. And then there were some monks that actually traveled there, and they were able to find the exact.
It was kind of under an archaeological dig or something.
Yeah. Right.
Well, Fran, what about you? Did you have any sort of insight into your own walk with the Lord, or anything like that on this trip? What came out of this trip spiritually like that for you?
I think for me, St. Paul was always an enigma. I could never understand him. His writings are very difficult to read and understand. But I get the sense of what he was dealing with by walking in his footsteps. So I think I didn't have a special place, so to speak, other than I thought we could have spent more time in Mary's house, because when you walked in there, you felt at peace.
Didn't you?
Felt like the presence of the
Right.
Blessed Mother with her arms out, ready to hug you.
Right.
Welcome to my house.
Right.
So
So it
this
was
has just been fantastic.
So it was because Paul is a bit of an enigma. He has all this. He's just a very passionate man. He has all this love for his flock, but he has to rebuke them, and then he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
And you had that experience. You sensed the embrace of Mary at her house. And I know Jeanette Mary's special to you too. What did you experience there?
I feel like I had a very contemplative experience arriving to her house. When you're driving through Ephesus and up the mountain up towards her house, I really felt her presence in the quiet moments when we were able to walk through the church and then walk by the spring, and being able to be in the be in a presence and be in the place where she lived. And I feel like I've always been very close to to Mary and to the Blessed Mother, and I feel like being able to be there and to be in the presence of a place that she lived and spent her life. As we were driving up the mountain, I was like, this is where I would imagine Mary to have lived.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's not
in this very contemplative and remote,
isolated,
and beautiful, the mountainside, and everything was just so.
And John was there there with her, took care of her. Think about how much he learned from Mary about Jesus that the other disciples had no idea about, because he spent all that time with her. And that's why his gospel's so unique, right? It's just totally different. And then
John is really touched by Jesus and Mary's love. The Blessed Mother, I feel is an amazing teacher of love. And John, in all of his Gospels, really focuses on Jesus' teachings about love. And I feel that's part of their bond. When John, Father Jason and I have been talking a lot about how John when people would come to John after Jesus had been crucified and he would tell them about Jesus' teachings, he would say that, they would always ask him, like, why does he always speak about love? And John would say that that's what he spoke to us about all the time. And I feel like the Blessed Mother also is another person who embodies that unconditional love.
So you have John in his older years when he would come into a church, he would just say, children, love one another. But then you have this whole other side of Jesus, the Mary, the sweet, the gentle, the beautiful, loving heart of Jesus. And then you hear this cracking, loud voice of Jesus when John, the same disciple, is up in the cave which we visited. Tell me what your impression was there, Joe, of that moment of the revelation of John receiving the apocalypse.
Yeah, I was in awe, especially walking into that cave and seeing the mark of the Holy Trinity in that cave.
You mean where?
Yeah, where the cleft in when you walk into the cave, it's very beautiful. You're not allowed to take pictures in there. There's a lot of sacramentals that were put in there in the 17th century.
But the cleft in the rock, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's the rock is divided. You can see it's divided into three places and sort of reflects. A lot of people believe it reflects the Holy Trinity. So when Jesus first spoke to John, they said it sounded like the voice of 1,000 waters and 1,000 trumpets going off.
And that it made those cracks.
And made those cracks. And that's where John received the book of Revelation, which in itself is awesome because that is probably the most prophetic book in the whole Bible.
Well, let me ask you this question. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Who wins the book of Revelation? Do you know who wins?
Jesus wins. He conquers.
If you don't want to hear this, but so at the very end of the book we have a spoiler. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
So we have this beautiful love of Jesus. God is love. This beautiful John saying, children, love one another. The same John experienced the loudest sound probably anybody's ever heard. It's cracked like thunder. And John is saying, and Jesus said, I'm coming soon. Yeah. The Spirit and the bride say, come. But it also talks about judgment, right? Which is basically that it's 100% up to you where you spend eternity, heaven or hell. Right. Jesus has extended his love to you in every possible way, but you can't force someone to love you back. Right. And so the book of Revelation, he says,
he knocks at the door.
Behold, I stand at the door. Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah. So Jesus knocks at the door, and if you open the door and let him in, he'll come in and supper with you and have dinner with you and be your friend and have fellowship with you. Mm-hmm. And that's a wonderful thing that we can have fellowship with God.
And love is not weakness. Love is the most powerful force in the world, the most powerful thing you can have. And Jesus, when he spoke to John like a voice of thunder, like a voice of many waters, we have nothing to fear. We see so much turmoil in the world, confusion in the world. The secular humanism seems to be just stirring up a pot of confusion. But we have nothing to fear because love is like that. Jesus is Lord. All of his disciples, so many of them, Titus was martyred. His skull was just right around the corner from this plaza in the Basilica of Titus. But Jesus is all powerful, and in the end, we do win. So say aloha from Crete.
Yep. Aloha
from Crete.
Yeah.
Aloha from Crete.
Do you know anything smart to say goodbye in Greek or anything, Jeanette? You know everything.
It's all Greek to me.
Okay.